It's Transformers 96 here with another review. This time it is of the movie Captain America: The Winter Soldier. So here you go. Been a while since I've done a movie review, and but I'm back again to do one. So yeah. So like I say, I'm not a great movie reviewer or anything, but I do these videos so that the people that like my toy reviews can get my opinions on the movies. That's basically why I do it. If you're just looking for a Captain America review, I'd recommend going somewhere else. But yeah. So I saw the movie last night. I did see it in a double feature. So I saw the first Avenger Captain America, and then and that was at 5:30, and then at 8 Captain America 2 started. So that was very fun. It was really nice to see the first one before the second one too, even though I of course remember the first one fully, but it's still nice to see it that way. So yeah, so a lot of things I'm going to talk about. I'm going to try to get to everything that I want to address. So let's just start it off. So first of all, let's see here. Where do I want to start this? I guess just I'll go throughout the characters. First of all, Black Widow in this movie. Very good. Her character doesn't change too much, but she's a big part in this movie, which is really nice. Really did like her character. The Captain America, the one thing I'll talk about with Captain America's like suit, I was really surprised with this. I expected him to have like the Golden Age suit kind of in the beginning of the movie and have the stealth suit be the end suit in the movie. Completely opposite, totally different, which is really surprising to me. I did not expect that Golden Age suit. I thought the Golden Age suit could have also just been in flashbacks. So I really didn't quite know what to expect with his suit, but I did totally expect that the stealth suit to be the suit that he wears at the end, and that's not the case. He wore it in the beginning, and they really never address why he has a suit designed like that. So I found that really surprising. It makes me just that much happier that I ordered the Hot Toys Golden Age suit before it sold out. So I'm really happy that I did get in on that, considering that was his final battle suit, and that was really cool. So it's gonna say in the title, and I always forget to say it right off the bat, but this review is spoil filled. I'm not gonna hold anything back, so definitely do not watch this if you haven't seen the movie. The Winter Soldier, I was really interested to see the Winter Soldier. I thought that the Winter Soldier would be like the main villain, and it turned out he kind of wasn't. I really did like the way that they did the Winter Soldier, because I was a little worried that obviously the Winter Soldier isn't going to, Steve Rogers is going to change him and he's going to start to remember who he is, and so that was really off-putting to me, because I'm like, well then the last battle is not going to have much intensity because you're going to know exactly how it plays out. But the thing is, he's really not the main villain in this movie, which is quite great, and I'm really happy with that. But I did like the way Winter Soldier looked. He looked fantastic, and I like the way that they did him, because he was definitely a prominent villain in this movie, but he wasn't the main focus, and that made it much easier to accept him not as a to accept him as the how we kind of know how it's going to turn out, where Steve Rogers is going to start to remind him, which I expected from day one when they announced that the Winter Soldier was going to be in this movie. It's just one of those things that you have to expect. The Falcon, I think, was really cool. I think that when they kind of just went over his whole wings and how he has those, I thought that they really went over that kind of fast, and that they should have spent a little bit more time explaining why the wings, were designed, and not so much just going over it like, oh, helicopters made too much noise, and but so they made a big wingsuit. They've got vultures in the sky now. So I wish that they would have explained that for a second more. Not just brush past it so fast, because it is definitely a very far out concept, but this whole movie has a lot of that. The Marvel, it started off with Iron Man and Hulk and stuff with fairly realistic things. They had some supernatural things in it, of course. Nowadays the movies are definitely a lot more fiction, or not a lot more kind of not real with their stuff here. When they started to transition into that, especially with the aliens from Avengers, I was definitely really worried. But now to this movie, I'm kind of used to it, so I do not mind it. When Nick Fury's car, says, "Oh, flight capability is off right now," it's like, whoa, okay, I guess cars can fly now. So, because I really don't take anything in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. serious when it comes to the movies, so I did not expect to hear the car say that, but that's the case. So overall, I really don't mind it when things are very unrealistic as far as technology and stuff in these movies anymore. That brings me to another point, and definitely a spoil to this, is that Arnim Zola is in this movie. Now, this was something that made me just so happy. Here he is. I do not want the screenshot to take this picture for the front of this video because I really don't want anybody to be spoiled for this stuff. But Arnim Zola being in this movie is just really great to me. As soon as I heard the voice talk, I was like, it's Arnim Zola. I cannot believe it. I am so happy. When the first movie came out, I was really hoping that Arnim Zola would be the main villain in the second movie. And then, by the time that this movie came out, I wasn't expecting to ever see Arnim Zola again, let alone in his kind of like a new form. Was so excited to see that. And although he's not a big walking around robot, he is just like a computer monitor screen. They did it really well. I love his face, how it was green and it was really cutting out. It made it a little bit more realistic. And what's really nice is this movie had a lot of little stuff that was kind of like a nod to the original characters that, you know, most people wouldn't notice, but fans of those characters would notice. And I love that the computer monitor was there with his face kind of representing the body, and then on top of the computer monitor was a camera representing his like camera head here. They did that so well. It was just a little nod to his original look in the comics. And if you didn't pick up on that the first time, you know, go see it again, and you'll see it. They definitely did it on purpose to make it look a little bit more like his comic self. I thought that was so cool. Really happy about that. Anyway, I was really happy to see Arnim Zola in this movie, and you know, you never know, we might see him again, because although they said that he is destroyed, I mean, he's a computer, so he could just send himself somewhere else, theoretically. It would be really easy to bring him back, but maybe we'll never see him again. But no matter what, I am so happy because I got my Arnim Zola fix, so I'm very happy about that. And then, with Crossbones, let's go to Crossbones now. Crossbones, when I heard that he was going to be in this movie and hadn't seen any pictures or anything, I thought, great, really excited to see him. When I started to see pictures and see the trailers and everything, I was really disappointed. It seemed like he was very underutilized in the movie, and he had no reference to Crossbones at all. In this movie, what I did not like at all was the fact that they did not call him Crossbones. I mean, it would have been so easy to do that. It would have been like in that opening scene, or close to the opening scene, where Captain America jumps out of the plane. Crossbones is giving them the details on the mission or whatever, and Captain America could have easily called him Crossbones, and they should have just referenced it. That was a nickname that he picked up on a different mission with Captain America. I mean, that would have been so cool. A little nod to the character. It would have been something really easy to do, but they just didn't. They never called him Crossbones. Was really disappointed about that. And his look, he very much looked like this, but when you're not going to call him the name and you're not going to give him the mask, nobody's going to know that this is a character from the comics. They're just going to think it's another random person that's just in the movie, that is just a villain, that it's not actually a comic character. So I wish that since they didn't give him the mask or anything, they'd have some crossbones on his chest. Again, they did kind of reference the original look of the character when he was about to fight Falcon, and he takes off his vest and his straps make the cross on his chest. I was really happy about that. Just another little thing that nobody who didn't know who Crossbones is would pick up on, but that comic fans would definitely notice that, you know, that's a little homage to Crossbones' original character. So I was really happy to see that. Very surprised that he lived. I thought he totally died, and then at the end they give you a quick shot of him all burned and stuff. That's really interesting, because either they plan to use him for Avengers 2, or they just want to keep him in their back pocket for the next Captain America. I don't know what it is, but it's just really cool to see, and that means that when we see him again, if we see him again, he will probably be wearing the mask like this, because his face is completely burned, so they'd have a reason to put a mask on like that. So that'll be really cool to see Crossbones come back and look more like his comic self. That would be really great. Overall, really did like this movie. The humor was pretty good. I felt like a couple jokes were kind of a miss, but they never went overly hard on the humor like you know, Iron Man 3 was. They really you know, they used it in some parts and even in some intense parts, but it was nothing big at all. When stuff was really intense and where things were really going down, they didn't use the humor. I thought that was great, and they did a really good job with that. Hydra being back in this franchise is absolutely mind-blowingly fantastic. I am so happy about it. I love Hydra, so to see them back is going to be great, and so excited for that. Agent Sitwell, I'm really surprised that he was like a villain. I mean, what? And I don't think anybody saw this coming, considering Sitwell has been in 2 Marvel one-shots. He's been in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV series multiple times, and he's been in, he was in Avengers for sure. I believe that he made an appearance in Thor, though, and then, I think that he's been in at least 2 other movies. He was definitely in the Avengers, though. And then he was going to be more of a main person in this. I expected him to be a good guy. I thought that he was kind of going to be misunderstood and stuff like that, and that just wasn't the case. And they end up throwing him out of a window and having him get hit by a car. I was like, whoa, you know, to the average watcher, it's really nothing. But to a Marvel fan who has seen Sitwell in multiple different, it's TV shows and movies and the short films, it's like, wow, you just kill off a character and totally change what he's all about in like 10 minutes. I was really surprised about that, but, you know, I guess it really doesn't matter, but it was just one of those really surprising things. I wasn't expecting it. Robert Redford's character, his head of S.H.I.E.L.D. or the head of Hydra, whatever you want to call it, his whole thing was kind of interesting. Of course, Robert Redford, great actor, you know, I was really kind of put off by him when he was casted as the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. and he was doing like his first interview for a separate thing, and they brought up that he was casted for Captain America, and he said, yeah, it's really great playing a villain, and it was like, what? Nobody could expect that, and he totally gave away his character like right off the bat, like within weeks of him getting casted, he spoiled that he was a villain. So I was really surprised that he would do that. That was kind of disappointing. So it wasn't a surprise that he was a villain. I was expecting it the entire time because of what he said. But his villain, he was more of a villain than I expected. I thought maybe he'd be kind of doing things, you know, like he'd be kind of using S.H.I.E.L.D. for wrong purposes, but in his mind they would be right. I didn't expect him to be a part of Hydra, so that was exciting. The only thing that was kind of disappointing was I was waiting and hoping that he would reveal himself as Red Skull, not as Hugo Weaving, because Hugo Weaving has expressed that he doesn't want to be in this franchise anymore, but as like a new kind of Red Skull or a new kind of figure of Red Skull. I was hoping that he'd take off the mask and he'd have some sort of Red Skull reference or something. They didn't do it though, not a big deal. Definitely, you know, I was disappointed as a big fan of Red Skull, but it wasn't a bad thing. You know, they weren't obligated to do that, so yeah, that's no problem. Talking about the end credit scene, the middle credit scene is the most interesting one, but it's where we see Strucker. It's like Baron Strucker or something like that. Very cool. I wasn't expecting to see him in this end credit scene, but that was just great. He will be one of the villains in Avengers 2, so to see him on the big screen is just really cool, and I guess he's leading Hydra at the moment, so I think that's really awesome. Cool to see him. Still has the monocle looking quite classic there with a heavy accent too, but overall, very cool to see him in this end credit scene. And of course, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, really cool to see them, and that they are captured by Hydra. You know, I don't know if they're allowed to talk about that they're mutants, so maybe in Avengers 2, how they have their powers is like some Hydra experiments or something, I don't know. But it's really interesting to see. It opens a lot of questions, and it's a nice little tease to Avengers 2, so very much excited and looking forward to that. Overall, this movie's quite great, really did enjoy it. Hope to see Falcon again. I would definitely not mind seeing him in Avengers. That would just be really cool. And I really liked the way it was played out. I liked just about all the characters. Very few flaws, if all, that I can say about it. And this is one of the best Marvel movies that Marvel has ever created, in my opinion. It just hit all those marks. Like, it's a movie that non-comic fans can really enjoy, and it's a movie that comic fans can really enjoy. Sometimes, you know, they start to make it, the movie targeted to one of those audiences. This movie targeted both of those audiences and hit them both on the mark, I think. So overall, really well done, fantastic. I think that this is going to bring a lot of support for Captain America, because those non-comic fans, Captain America is always like an character to a lot of people. So I think that this movie is going to start to bring him out more, especially since this movie kind of directly ties in with Avengers 2. It makes Captain America a more prominent figure figure, I think, in the Marvel Universe. So I'm really excited to see the future of Captain America. I love this movie. Hey, I'm seeing it again in a few hours. I can't resist. I gotta see this movie a decent amount of times, actually. So yeah, overall, really great movie. Some awesome comic book characters that they brought into it. Some awesome surprise comic book characters that you weren't expecting, and just they were able to keep so much of the story under wraps, and it was really quite impressive that they were able to do that. Really quick before I go, forgot to talk about Nick Fury. Nick Fury was great in this movie. I think that it was so cool to see him kind of fight, see him be more of a prominent character, not somebody, you know, that's just standing, you know, looking out over everybody. So it was really cool to see him as a prominent character, and I'm excited for the future of Shield. I mean, I guess Shield is like gone now. I'm not sure. So I'm really interested to see how they take this universe, because this movie did a lot of crazy things. Also, another thing that I keep going on to more and more, but they made several references to other Avengers, which is really cool. They mentioned Bruce Banner a couple times, and they mentioned Iron Man a couple times, and one of my favorite references to Iron Man was when the helicarriers were targeting Hydra's targets. One of them, if you saw really fast, was the Stark Tower, and there was a target inside the Stark Tower. So theoretically, they're trying to kill Iron Man in this movie. So that's really cool. It's kind of neat to know that if Captain America fails, Iron Man's gonna die. It's a little quick thing that I bet a lot of non-comic book fans wouldn't have picked up on, but that they put it in. Definitely, it was made by somebody who respected the comics, and I really found that impressive. That's what I really didn't like about Iron Man 3. It seemed like Shane Black, I believe, is the director. It seemed like he really didn't respect the comics. He really, you know, just wanted to make a entertaining movie to the average viewer, and not to a comic book fan who knows and loves these characters. So that's what it seemed like in that movie. In this movie, they really respected the original characters. I felt like quite a lot, actually, over and above, and that was just super impressive. So there you go, long review, but I love this movie. You gotta see it. I mean, it's just great. I don't think I'm gonna have to twist your arm, but I mean, you definitely have to see it, and see it more than once. Why not? So there you go. So that's my review of the Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Thank you so much for watching.